back with the Arts Are the Answer as the Your Town segment that the Arts Council produces for you every month. And our focus this month is really all about blooming. You just can't help but look around Monterey County. I have poppies just bursting in my yard, and I'm sure you've seen them all over town, all over everywhere. And one of the greatest inspirations that we have in Monterey County is Elizabeth Murray. And she joins us now, and we're going to talk about her book, Living Life in Full Bloom. What drove her to put together such an extraordinary, we call it a book, but it's actually so much more than that, and what people who have been reading her book all over the country and all over the world really have been getting out of it, and then what's next for Elizabeth? So thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. It's just such a great pleasure to talk with you today. So can you tell us about the book and what led you to that point of being able to do something so amazing?
Oh, well, thank you for saying it's amazing.
No, it really is.
It's my offering. It's my life work, actually. So it's small but humble. And I actually do a lot with prayer. And my spirit comes through nature. And I've been a gardener since I was a child, and been an artist since I was a child, and a great lover and observer and person involved with nature. So I, after doing lots of different kinds of art, photography, writing, painting, making gardens, I was really asking the Great Spirit, the mystery, what next? Where can I serve the best?
Was that a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe 4 years ago or maybe more. I'm not sure. I'm always asking. Every day I ask, actually. What today? What today? How can I best serve?
Yeah.
What is the inspiration coming to? So this, I had to hone it down and have clarity, and this book was what came to me. And it was like, what is my offering? What do I think is most important? So I have many ideas. I'm gifted with friends and ideas. I think that's my wealth. And so this idea of offering a book that would have 4 pathways. And first of all, I call it the pathway of the gardener, which I call it intimacy with nature, intimacy with the natural world. If you're a gardener, it doesn't mean that you're actually planting, it means that you're observing. You're looking at the stars, you're observing the weather, you're observing the oceans, the soil, what is in bloom right now, and dormant times, and it's metaphoric and literal. And our own seasons of bloom and dormancy and fruiting. So that's the gardener, and there's 30 little pathways, little lessons, little ideas to try out, to do. And then the second pathway that I think is so important is the pathway of the artist. And how art and creativity can awaken our spirits and connect us, and also enrich our lives as well as enrich other lives. And that every bit of life is creative. The way we dress, the way we set our table, the way that we make our garden or we make our home, how we present. And it could be our art is poetry or song or music, like you're a great musician, or painting or working with children. You know, that it's many things art is. For me, it's everything. And it's a common language, and it's an awakener. And it's something that we can build bridges, we can make connections, we can be a family together with very different cultural backgrounds. And so I think art is, and it's a way of thinking, a creative way of thinking, new solutions. I have the privilege of teaching a lot of corporate people, which is a very different kind of mindset, because a lot of times they have a maybe more conservative point of view than I do, sometimes quite a bit more. So for me to be able to work with them and to help them expand on new ways of thinking, maybe I'm teaching it through painting or photography or drawing or making handmade books or all kinds of stuff. But it's really a way. I said, take this home to your family. Take it home to your community. Take this to your corporation. Take it to your voting. You know, new ways of thinking, new ways of reweaving our communities. And then the third pathway I call the pathway of the lover, which is really to connect with our heart, to fall in love every day. Yeah. What we love, we protect. You love trees, let's protect our trees.
That's why
you love the ocean.
That shows the otters.
Absolutely.
People fall in love so easily with the otters. Like, yeah, the otters live in the ocean. How about that?
Yeah. What connects us? Yeah. What is our heart connection? Yeah. The aquarium is great on art and education and nature and
so interconnected. So gardening, artist, creativity path, and the loving path, and what's the fourth one?
I call it spirit weaving.
Okay.
To bring in the spirit, celebration, ceremony, gratitudes, delight in every day. And then I have a section on different friends of mine that live that life and the contributions that they give to the world, how they help reweave community. And then there's a life mapping process, because everybody has the opportunity to really set their North Star to what they love and what will contribute and will give meaning. So that's
this is why, so there's only one reason I'm saying that it's called a book, but there is just so much there. And so you have in every section has the daily practices for each of the pathways. Is that right?
30 practices per, so there's 120 daily practices.
Daily practices, examples of people's lives who are really embodying a lot of that already. So we can get a lot of comfort and inspiration from different people throughout. And then what have you found? I even brought with me one of the reviews, because I just was fascinated to see, well, what else did other people, I just feel like it's so explosive with so many ideas, and I was curious about what other people were getting from the whole thing. And I came across one that was so beautiful. This person wrote, I read through it all for an overview, and then because it's so interesting, I reread it, taking what I thought would be practical for me. But what the writer was also talking about is that the whole thing takes you away from that busyness of electronics and to-do lists and everything, and has you just really think again about your whole life. And I think it's she writes, although I'm not a gardener, it spoke to my nature side. And I think that's the same thing, isn't it? With you don't have to think of yourself as an artist yet to really get so much from the practices and from trying different things and looking at things in such a whole new way, like the clients that you're talking about. They haven't walked into your space thinking, I'm an artist, teach me what I need to know. They think like, okay, so what are you going to do with me now? And yet they get so much out of it.
Well, and I think the pathway of love helps us, and beauty and awe and delight and playfulness. That helps all of us, myself included, not be so judgmental and to be more flexible and more curious. And curiosity is really important in the art realm. Yeah. Otherwise, we just think, oh, I'm not good, I've never been good, and we can judge too harshly on ourselves. Yeah. And last week, I had the incredible privilege of having 3 days hosting this woman, Joanna Macy, who's an incredible Buddhist teacher and writer. And I brought her to the aquarium, and she said, she's 89, and she says, I want my last 1,000 days to be by the sea with people I love, and I must go to the Monterey Aquarium. And we also walked all by the sea, and every day, every moment, her curiosity was so open-hearted. Yeah. It was so full of love and so full of gratitude for the beauty of everything that we share here. She was a deep teacher for me of experiencing what I try to practice, and she has it in such a deeper way. It was just a big privilege.
That's exquisite.
Yeah.
So you also, in addition to the work you're talking about with corporate people and all the interaction you must have with people who have read your book and just want to reach out to you in some sort of a way, you also lead trips. Can you talk about some of the trips that you've been doing and what might be ahead?
Well, what I care about most is inspiring people and really having them be inspired with the spirit in the land and the beauty, through beauty and through delight, so that then they will recommit to that and reawaken in their own lives. So one of the pathways for me for the last 33 years has been Monet's Garden.
Yeah.
And I was a full-time gardener here and quit my job to work there for free and
amazing.
helped on the restoration, and then have been returning and been able to publish my work in calendars and books and with Monet's paintings. Yeah. So I've had the privilege of being in, I don't know how you show it up, but being in oh, see, there you go. I'm not sure how these.
Let me do that.
So now I thought, you know what? I'm going to share this. I'm going to start bringing people there because I know this place and I love it. I love it well. So I found a great place to stay, and I have a permission to bring artists in early in the morning with the gardeners for a couple of hours, and then in the evening when all the tourists are gone. So we can sit there, and actually I brought some slides that maybe he'll put up that shows some of my artists there. And just really small groups, just 11 people and a couple of my friends as assistants, and with delight and beauty. And so I teach photography and drawing and painting.
And how do people sign up? Are you going to be doing those trips some more?
I do it, yeah. I'm signed up for this June. Here's just a little sketchbook. And everybody gets one of these, and we do them. This is the this is Monet's Garden, and the great thing is you just keep doing it and opening it up farther. It goes out to 9 feet.
Wow!
And then you can, that was one of the artists in the garden. And then I went on another little trip later. I went to Renoir's garden, and there I had a little more time because I didn't have to teach. So and his is all about old, amazing old olive trees. And then I've also been, and this is, you can go on both sides, so it's 18 feet long. Yeah, there's lots more, but this is some of the water lilies, Monet's water lilies. And then what I did is I'm into nature printing.
Yeah.
So we got some leaves from Monet's willow, and I printed them right on my drawing, or my watercolor. And then I found a little small water lily leaf and printed that right on it. So and the thing that's amazing, this isn't so much about, incredible art, it's about presence. Yeah. It's about taking the time, and what a luxury time is.
Right.
What a luxury to slow down and observe and go, these water lilies are floating right on the surface, or I'm drawing from Monet's drawing or something like that. Just delight.
I guess that's one of the gifts of the creative process too, slowing everything down just a little bit, being more observant. It's really interesting to me as you're talking the whole notion of being both intentional, like when you're talking about how you do your table, how you do your garden, how you do this and that, both intentional and humble and curious at the same time. I mean, that's a lot to manage, but that's part of the process, isn't it? Just to be able to do both somehow.
When we stay humble, and to me, I love humble because it's human, humility, humble, humus, like dirt underneath your. Well, I think it all is connected. Dirt underneath your fingernails. So gardeners, and when we keep a sense of humor, then we can be more flexible. We're not taking ourselves too seriously.
I love that.
And I think that's super important.
That's wonderful. I'm going to remember that. So let's see. What else are you up to? What's next for you as an artist, as a person? There's so much that you have given to others, really, over all this time, in teaching, doing your classwork, doing the trips, doing all these things. What's next for you, like in your own creative process?
Well, two things. One of my great teachers right now, is Lisa G. Littlebird. Uh-huh. And she's a singer.
The Wholehearted Chorus?
The Wholehearted Chorus. I'm in it. I'm very proud to be in it. We're performing this Friday and Monday. And so singing, and I'm a public speaker, but to sing. Oh my God. And all my fear and being a beginner again. And it's amazing for me. And joy and authenticity.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me. It's amazing. And I recently got my Irish passport and Irish citizenship. So after France, after teaching in France, I'll be going to Ireland. And I'm looking at putting together a small group to really be present in joy and delight of Spirit in the Land with music and walking and poetry and like that, you know, in the nature way. So that's on the west side. That's something I'll be working with. And I'm planning on building a little painting studio in my garden, my lower garden.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the next 25, 30 years as I look at my third act of my life. And hopefully, God willing, maybe till 90, who knows.
Yeah.
But
That's the right plan.
A painting studio that will be accessible to me as an elder.
Yeah.
And I am so in love with the Grand Canyon. I've taken a number of trips there. One of my watercolors.
It's such a magical little box. You see?
Oh yeah, I love these
This is
things.
okay.
This is like my accordion. And so I painted this on the boat there.
Wow.
And I love it. So, and I have many of these paintings. So my idea, what I would love to do is to be able to make really large paintings that are like Monet's water lilies, that people could actually walk in and probably have some sound and music and experience, because again, it's sacred space and it's the awe quality of nature.
And that would be in your studio or where?
Yeah, the studio I'm going to build won't be as big as Monet's. It'll just be a small studio, but I'm planning on making a studio that could accommodate some very large paintings.
That's what I'm thinking. How big is that going to be?
Well, they have to be big.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be big. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the dream. And you have to live for your dream. And I don't lead by practicality. I do have some practical because I have to earn my own money and make things work. But I lead by the dream and lead by grace, you know, and gifts. I'm also taking a really advanced painting class right now.
Oh, you are?
And it's online, which is kind of a bizarre way of doing it. But it's really humbling me, incredibly humbling me. So that's good for my own knowledge, and it's also good as a teacher to be completely humbled.
Well, we are so grateful for what you brought to our area, and
thank you.
We're happy for you to go to Ireland, but please do come back. I know it can be tempting to stay there. I love Ireland too. So, but this is the book Living Life in Full Bloom, and it is just available everywhere now, right? So it's really just a beautiful project, but it's a great gift to everyone. So thank you.